we're going to be mentioning Lilo throughout this episode and the show. So I just want to make sure you guys were aware. And I think it's the idea is amazing, and I'm pretty sure that's why you agreed to, join on with him. And,
as soon as he introduced me to it, it was just like, of course, and it's just one of those things too that you wear the band and it just kind of makes you think about it. You put something like kind of in your eyesight, you kind of think about it, makes you kind of pause. It's one of those things that's definitely helped me to kind of like just strive for my day. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're going through something, like you just pause to love yourself, whether that's like taking time for prayer, meditation, yoga. And whenever you feel good about yourself, you in turn want to help somebody else, or you should want to help other people. So I think it's very important, like whether it's like a phone call, you haven't talked to somebody in a long time, or you see somebody fumbling around with some change at the checkout, like give them that extra $1. Or, if somebody that like, just might need an ear, just might need a door open. But I think it's like very important to just anywhere we can express that.
Welcome to 99 Miles Per Hour with me, your host, Perci Garner. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Your Pizza. Now, this is a local pizza shop in New Philly. They're at 152 Front Avenue in New Philadelphia. You can find their pizza online at yourpizzashop.com. Or if you can call right now to order for delivery, it's 330-339-4888. Now, you can also find subs, salads, of course, and boneless wings. Now, y'all know me. If y'all seen the show before, I don't be messing with the salads, but they got everything for everybody. Try some of this pizza. It's amazing.
Welcome to me casa. Make yourself at home. Do your do. Welcome to my pad. This your lab. Go create your move.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the 99 Miles Per Hour podcast with me, your host, Perci Garner, and I have a special guest today. I think we got a new camera angle too, so you can't see them yet, so it's going to be a surprise. Can't wait. But before we get to our guest, I want to say a thank you to our sponsors, Your Pizza and Peterman Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, and in case you guys didn't know, they also do some redesigning of kitchens and stuff like that in your house too. So hit them up if you need anything done to your house, like most of us. But we have a guest today, and this person, has got a lot of talents. She can sing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And she also, I'm a little jealous of, I envy her creativity and art skills because I've never been able to do that. But if you want me to draw you a stick figure, I'll draw you a nice, neat stick figure with some clean lines. But anyways, we ain't talk about my misfortunes and what gifts God didn't bless me with. We're going to talk about what gifts God blessed our guests with. And today we have one of my close friends' siblings, if you guys know who that is. But I'm happy to have her on the show. It is Philista Mills, CEO and head designer of House of Mills. How we doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How hard was that, me just stumbling through all that while you just sitting here?
It was exciting.
Okay, I got you. Well, I'm glad to have you on the show, and hopefully we got some other things in the workings where we invite all the Mills on set to have fun one day, but we'll save that for a different time. But so CEO and head designer, how does that feel to hear that? Does that sound cool? I mean, did you think that would ever happen?
Honestly, I've always sketched, I've always designed, so I've always kind of been still beating my own drum. So I've always done individual things. And I always wanted to come back home and, have my own manufacturing company and my own design thing. Once I really got into fashion. So this has definitely been one of those things I've been working towards, but it never is I never get used to hearing it. Hearing someone say that is oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just an executive director and I feel good saying that. Right. So everybody's like, yeah, you work at, I'm the executive director at the Rainbow Connection. But I'm proud of you. And, I've been tuning in to a lot of the stuff you're doing. Appreciate and, we'll dive into that. But I just want a quick update of, what's going on with House of Mills. What are you guys doing?
So right now we are really just trying to, stay relevant as far as virtual is where it's at right now. With COVID, everything shut down.
What's COVID? No, I'm joking.
And, I was really hitting my stride with trunk shows, and I was going to Cincinnati, Columbus, and I was eventually going to go to Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and also doing some here in Dover. But with that, you know, we had to close down and think about some stuff. So this year we've really been trying to at least hit like 1 to 2 virtual events a month. And, you know, like this is even something for us as far as like even just like advertising. So we really just want to try and just make sure that we're like getting our name out there. And really building on our one-on-one client relationships right now, because it's so important.
I love that
we
stuff.
have like, you know, we have like so many amazing clients and word of mouth and things that's happening. I'm really grateful because, you know, we've been doing these tea times with the Dover Public Library. Ms. Rieger has been like such an amazing help throughout the process. And the second one I was able to do, you know, thanks to Miss Kennedy, because she let me actually put it in her art gallery for the second show. So it's, you know, this community support has like been like very helpful. But yeah, like definitely we want to work on our one-on-one person-to-person relationship. We want to continue to do our tea times. And then we've been ramping up our virtual client consultations, which has been great for us.
Ooh.
So we've definitely been doing that. Things have been picking up. So the one thing that we also are adding, we kind of started last year where we were going to programs that were doing things with like kids for summer camps. Okay. And so like me and one of my sisters would go down, we would like talk about like House of Mills and corporate Lilo. But this year we have just started doing some virtual things, like almost like career days. Oh, okay. And so we just kind of touched on that. And then we're also working on doing some day workshops with some of the centers around here. So
wow. Okay. In case you guys didn't know, I hadn't mentioned this before, but Lilo is love yourself, love others. And, you know, Philista's teaming up with one of my good friends who I've had on the show. We had a virtual event because he's from Michigan, but Brandon Carnegie. So, you know, we're going to be mentioning Lilo throughout this episode and the show. So I just want to make sure you guys were aware. And I think the idea is amazing, and I'm pretty sure that's why you agreed to, you know, join on with him. And,
as soon as he introduced me to it, it was just like, of course, you know, and it's just one of those things too that you wear the band, and it just kind of makes you think about it. You know, you put something like kind of in your eyesight, you kind of think about it, it makes you kind of pause. It's one of those things that's definitely helped me to kind of like just strive for my day. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're going through something, like you just pause to love yourself, whether that's like taking time for prayer, meditation, yoga. And, you know, whenever you feel good about yourself, you in turn want to help somebody else, or you should want to help other people. So I think it's very important, like whether it's like a phone call, you haven't talked to somebody in a long time, you know, or you see somebody fumbling around with some change at the checkout, like give them that extra $1. Or, you know, if somebody that like, you know, just might need an ear, you know, just might need a door open. But I think it's like very important to just anywhere we can express that. And I feel like the wave is catching on. Mm-hmm. We've been talking about this and working on this. Like he's been working on it and started it way before I joined the team. Mm-hmm. I've been on there, I think it's about 4 to 5 years now, or maybe 5 to 6. But
that is,
you know,
crazy when you think about it.
It is, but it's one of those things. Like I really feel like the message of love is really, really pushing through right now during times of when we really, really need it.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing I like about Lilo is you can kind of interpret it your own way. Obviously it's love, but for me, you know, there are some times, and I'm pretty sure everyone has this feeling where you don't always love yourself.
Right.
And, you know, I went through that with, you know, when I'm dealing socially, I'm very, very confident, and I love my social skills, but you know, when I was pitching, or sometimes I get down on myself, you know, whatever it is, if your career. And, you know, obviously I haven't taken this band off in, maybe 5 years. I don't know.
I mean, I still have mine on. Mine's like rubbing off. Yes.
But yeah, so it means a lot. And, you know, I'm glad that you're working with Brandon on that. So now, obviously we're talking about COVID and all that, and how it's affected, you know, House of Mills. But, you know, obviously me and Micah in one of the earlier stages of this podcast talked about, you know, the Mills family and, you know, how strong you guys are together. Now, I know there's been some challenges, but just talk about, you know, the family support you receive, and then talk about, you know, COVID, how that's kind of affected a little bit, and, you know, with Mr. James Mills and you know, and just touch on that a little bit.
You know, it's amazing to me that we've already been through this for a year. We've hit the year, I don't want to say anniversary, but the year mark of how everything has started. And it was truly a blessing that I was already stable and here in my hometown. Like I wasn't having to have those conversations of am I moving back home? Like it was already on my path. So like I kind of just let myself be still in that moment of I had my family close.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, as soon as it all happened, we were very open and honest about our safety precautions. You know, we were very open and honest about faith and God. And we just kept those conversations going because I felt like the more we weren't talking, or even if we weren't talking, you know, that's not a way to get through something. And we're talking to family, like we never not talk. Yeah. So that's like, I had to pause for that. But like, you know, like we definitely keep the communication open. You know, we definitely like, we're just like reaching out to each other, making sure everybody was cool and safe. One thing that I think is amazing, you know, the nursing home situations. Like I can remember the day that, you know, I went and saw my grandmother. I was going to stay a little extra long, didn't. Got the phone call that they're locking the doors. And like, we were obviously trying to be like, well, let us go back up. Locked. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was one of those moments where you thought you had more time. Yeah. And the thing is like the Hennis Care Center in Dover is amazing. Like, you know, their support, the help that they've given us, the reassurance and like, you know, the precautions they've taken has helped us as like a family, which we're really appreciative of. One way that we got through, and we still are getting through, is my mother, Martha Mills, decided to do a prayer call on Sundays. Cause you know, we saw my grandmother every day. We touched her every day. And that's such an important aspect of, you know, of just extending your love to your family. Yeah. So my mom got on the phone, you know, the prayer call on Sundays includes my grandmother, my auntie, my mom, and then 3 of our cousins. And you know, it's one of those, we pick a song, we practice it without my grandmother, and it was just hilarious on the phone. And then, you know, we sing it for her on the phone. She sings a verse. Somebody has, you know, a reading that they want to share. And then somebody closes in prayer. And I did not realize how powerful that was for me throughout this process, because there were Sundays where I was like, oh, I don't want to make the call, or I don't want to, but that's my family. You know what I mean? Like you got to pick up the call, which was like so, just so fulfilling. And so just like, you know, just exactly what I needed without even knowing I needed it.
That's what's up. I didn't even know you guys were doing that. That's cool.
Yeah, let's let you in. Let you in on
That's what's up. I like it. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, we know how important it is, and I touched on it a little bit. I don't know if you remember the episode and how, you know, my family, we have fun, and then your family have fun, and then you combine the two, and it's too much fun. But, I mean, it's good to have those things. And I know I've already talked about a lot where, you know, me, Micah, Daniel, and Eric staying close. We actually got closer over the time. So it was crazy. And I just thought, man, like, you know, what a difference you can make when you're intentional about things. Absolutely. And obviously it's working for you guys. So, but let's talk about the CEO of House of Meals some more, and being that, and I guess the challenges that brings, because we just had a show with entrepreneur Justin Carter from up north. And, you know, he does a lot of stuff with real estate, but this one's a little different, and it's kind of, you know, you gotta, I don't know if this is how you look at it, but you just gotta hope that people like your designs or something like that. Cause you know, showing a house, eventually you're gonna run into a house that somebody likes, but designing, you have your skill set, and you know, it's based off taste. So, but you've got a background in this. It's not just like, hey, I just want to start a business. So I guess before you get into the challenges, just give us a background of, you know.
You know, I started at Dover High. I used to sketch throughout high school. I just, one of those things like, just being home, I've come across some of my sketches that were like hilarious, like, wow, but never give up. You know, I knew I wanted to do fashion, you know, so I applied to the University of Cincinnati. I thought Kent State was a little too close. So I just wanted to have a little bit more freedom. I was accepted to the university. However, to get into the design program, you have to actually do a different type of like portfolio and to get into that actual college. So, you know, the first 2 years I took all my electives, I worked full time, and I just kept preparing myself, like pretty much all the electives that it took to get into that program. And then, you know, I had a lot of friends that they also were trying to apply, but they were just like, forget it. I'm going to just, you know, graduate in marketing or graduate in finance. And I was like, all I want to do is sketch. Like, you know, I knew what I want to do for the rest of my life. So 2 years was nothing really. So, you know, I just kept like going for it. I kept like working at it. And it was eventually one of those things, like I got in, I was able to, like the University of Cincinnati's design program is called DAP, which is Design, Architecture, and Planning. And it gives you like work experience, which is amazing. So what we were allowed to do was we would take courses, and then like you'd have an internship. I was able to travel to a couple different states, like New York and California, which were amazing, but I also knew how much it was to live there. So it was like really, it was a really good like thing to do as far as like just checking yourself, like really, like, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
So I graduated from University of Cincinnati, and I was offered a position at Abercrombie and Fitch on my last internship before I graduated, which was amazing.
Nice.
And once I graduated, I went back there. I was able to travel the world. I learned so much knowledge. Like I just took on Abercrombie as my master's.
Oh, okay.
Like it was just like, cause I was there for so many years. There were so many different departments. And I was able to move around in so many different departments and learn like things from like denim to knits to wovens to outerwear to washing, dyeing. Like they had their own like washing, dyeing houses. And I love stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
how long were you at Abercrombie?
About 9.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. 9.5 years, 2016, October 5th. Was the day. And it's been nice because it was like one of those, like towards the end of it, I kind of felt it. I felt like, I was ready to put more into my day with myself versus someone else. Mm-hmm. It was a great, like, it was a good parting. It wasn't like, it was one of those things that was just like, it's time, and so it was, the people I worked with were amazing. Like the things I learned were really, really like is where I'm at today. Yeah. And so in 2016 is whenever I really started like spending time on House of Mills. Like, like just really like, this is what I want to do. These are the things I'm going to make. And a lot of the stuff from my collections come from like some of my traveling, like, like some pieces I've seen and just like other just things I've like purchased and things like that.
Yeah. Just getting your inspirations from a lot of different things. Yeah,
I was really like blessed to do that. And I really started doing local trunk shows here is whenever I started going to Be Yoga studios.
Okay.
It was one of those things where I was like transitioning to and from Columbus a lot. And, my back was bothering me. So it was one of those things like, I got to stay healthy kind of thing. I'm on the road. I was, blessed enough to come across Sarah's studio. And it was one of those things that, it internally has continued to help me as for like yoga is like one of those things that's like, oh, okay, I found something to kind of center me. I found something to kind of motivate me. I found something to kind of keep my light going. Yeah. And I started making my own things. So people at the end of class would be like, oh, what are you wearing? Or that looks cool, or whatever. And the reason why I wore it is because I never like to wear like tank tops and leggings. Like I'm always cold. Like, I mean? Like I want to like layers on. I want like stuff on. So I just asked her if I could have a trunk show there one time, and it went really well. And so I kind of consistently started doing that until COVID.
That's what's up. Yeah. See, I didn't know all that. See, I always say this, but this is my, I guess, platform to learn more about people that I thought I knew already. But I love hearing more stuff, backstory and just how you get to where you're at and, different things just because, I'm gonna steal some of the stuff. So. But I always wonder, like, I was just thinking about this the other day, like, say I get to interview more people and more people, I never want to be that person that's interviewing people and just asking you about the most controversial thing or something about your past that's you obviously don't want to talk about. Right. I want to be the person that interviews people about what they want to share, and that way I learn stuff and someone in the audience learn stuff. So, but I mean, we could always get it. No, I'm joking. Sometimes there's controversial stuff that you can avoid, but anyways, now I know I've helped you out a little bit with technology wise, but like being the CEO of a business, there's a lot of different things, and I'm gonna get more specifically into that later. But the challenges of just finally saying, okay, I'm doing this. This is gonna be my business, and I'm gonna attack this head on. Right. Now, were there some things that you were not aware of that you were like, oh man, I got to do this, and all that, or did you kind of already have like a good GPS system set up to where, okay, I know I'm eventually have to do this? How was that for you, the learning curve?
The learning curve for me was, I'm a creative. I love to think of the process, design it, make it, and meet the people, try to like make people feel good about themselves. Mm-hmm. The business aspect of it is the one thing that I'm just like constantly learning. Mm-hmm. I got to just read books. I've got to like take courses. I've got to, and right now I'm really in a season or a chapter of being kind to myself, because, you know, my family always say, you try to do too much or you're doing too much, which is like hilarious to me. But like in the moment, obviously it's not. But but it's one of those things that I really am trying to slow down, because I always have my goals. I always have the things I'm going to do. But if I don't hit those, I'm really trying to let this season be like, okay, we'll just put another date on it. What did you learn from this? And how can you do it better next time? Versus in the past, I feel like I would be my worst, you know, cheerleader or enemy, as far as like, okay, you didn't do that and you didn't do this in time. No one knows it. Like half the time, nobody knows it. Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody knew you were going to put this out. Nobody knew that you were going to make this. Yeah. But it's like what I say to myself. And I've been finding out that like the things I say to myself, as you know, is like, it's so powerful.
Yes.
It's so powerful. So I'm really trying to not create in fear, create in faith, create in confidence, create in love. Whether that be like, you know, like a virtual event, whether that be, like, you know, saying yes to this, because I took a minute to say yes. But it's one of those things that it's like, this is part of my business that I know I also need to develop. So this year, this season, I'm just like all in. Yeah. Just teach me everything.
Yeah. So that's what's up. I like that. I mean, not a lot of people first do their reflection kind of stage. So, you know, when you realize, okay, I didn't accomplish this goal, but, you know, there was still light at the end of the tunnel. Right. The gap didn't just close just because I didn't get this date done. But a lot of people, I think it's very important that you kind of do have that time to reflect. And I kind of just don't really take that time. I just going. Like, oh, it's a failure. You know, and then you kind of just sit on that. And I think it's better to just talk about it or think about it and kind of take notes and just see what you learn, and then, you know, progress. And, or as your brother would say, we press on.
I would say we press on. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I feel like journaling is huge. Like I go off and on in doing it, but like right now I've really been doing journaling, and kind of to your point, I feel like it's definitely something that I'm just like, okay, I know my habits. I know whenever I'm starting to get down on myself. So I gotta go outside. I gotta have a tea. I need to do meditation or yoga or journal. Like I know those are things that I can like get myself out of that funk quickly, versus riding the wave and like hoping I click on. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those like, okay, I'm wasting too many hours doing that. So
yeah, I mean, that's good. So that's exactly why it's important. But anyways.
right.
Now, you know, the thing I'm finding out now that I am the executive director, thing I'm finding out is, you know, social media isn't as easy as it sounds. Like, oh, let's just post a photo. Right. Oh, let's just do this. Right. I'm finding out there's a lot of strategy involved in, I guess, when, you know, there's a lot of content that you have to just create, you know, which is different than what I'm doing at my, you know, whenever I have a project and we go help someone, I can't always just go, hey, we just helped Sue, because that's her private information. I can't just put her on
right. Absolutely.
So for you, I know it's a little different, but how have you taken advantage or not taken advantage of social media?
I feel like I go in waves. You know, I feel like I'm one of those people where I'm just like, I'm on it, I'm posting, and I'm like, oh, okay, good traction and things like that. And then whether I'm like, I kind of put that down to like either like work on a trunk show or work on like a business app, but like I don't balance the posts. Yeah. So I really want to work on that. And I don't know if it's as simple as like I do feel like I'm a strategy person when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to my stuff. I'm not just like, oh, I'm thinking of this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if it's like I'm fitting someone, like I sometimes don't like to post that because like it's a personal thing. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I really just try to do, I try not to let myself go like maybe like a week without posting, or like 2 weeks or something like that, because I noticed like I couldn't go longer. But I really want to try and start doing it more consistently. Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult for me. I know I'll go, all right, I'll even tell Crystal like, all right, I'm gonna start posting, you know, because I really regret not taking advantage of it when I was playing, and you know, I just felt weird like posting pictures of me pitching. I don't know, it's just weird.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Like I'm trying to do the same thing and posting pictures of myself are just like, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just that second guess voice.
But it's just like every other part of the business. Sometimes you just gotta dive in. Right. And then you'll learn and, you know, progress. Sometimes you got to learn to delegate once you know, but obviously we got to grow first. And pretty much every entrepreneur or CEO or anyone who's built a business has learned like, all right, once I get to a certain point, I got to figure out who I can dish this off to. Right. And that's the hardest. When Carmel retired, she was like, don't do too much, just like your family. And it's rough because you don't think that you're doing too much. You're like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. And then reality, once you finally do, you know, delegate something or say, hey, can you help me with this? You're just like,
Right.
You know? Just like my wife cutting the grass.
Right.
Brownie points. No.
Absolutely.
No pun intended. No, I'm just. All right, I'm done. Let's skip to another subject, a little off of the House of Mills, but something you've probably dealt with, you know, for most of your life. And you know, that's just the state of, I guess, where we are as a people, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But just as a Black woman, where do you feel, I guess, do you feel we're making progress? Let's just say that.
Progress as in,
you know, do you feel like we're in a better state than, you know, growing up as a Black or brown woman than your mother was, I guess, growing up as a Black or brown woman?
I think it's different.
Yeah.
I think it's different. I think that, you know, the things that my grandparents went through, I think the things that our parents went through, I think things we go through and what our kids are going to go through are different chapters of the same.
Okay.
But not like in like a sad woe is me way. I just think it's one of those, like, you know, we have the challenges of what we're dealing with right now, which is like not anything that like maybe our grandparents thought that we would have to deal with based on what they were able to overcome, or what our parents thought we would have to still be dealing with based on like what they overcame. You know, so I definitely feel like it's you know, it's a season for learning. I feel like it's one of those things, like, because so much has been opened, it's everyone's choice. Like, if you get another day, if you're blessed with another day, like, you should want to choose to make that day better than the last.
I like it.
You know? And so I just kind of feel like right now we're all in that limbo of who are you? Who are you? Look yourself in the mirror. Who are you? Like, who do you want to be? Like, you know, like, I'm a firm believer of, like, you know, what we do, what we put out is like what we get in some good, you know, some way, shape, or form. So
just like your business, what you put into it, it's going to show itself.
Absolutely. So. Like, you know, like, even like if I don't do any work, I don't get any progress. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, if you don't want to learn a new way, like, you're never going to be a different way. Yeah. If you don't want to look at someone differently or accept someone that you never have, then, like, how do you expect to, you know, change yourself? And that goes back into Lilo. Like, we have to love ourselves. You know, like, if I didn't love myself, like, I feel like there's so much I would be cut off from that I do that's just because I love it. Like, whether it's like something I do or a person or, you know, like a situation I'm in, there's so many different like levels of it. But I just feel like it's right now we're in a season that it's like, it's up to you. Like, it's no one else's choice. It's not up to your parents. It's not up to how you were raised. It's not up to somebody did something to me yesterday. You know, it's what do you want to be? What do you want to stand for? And what's easy for you to lay your head down at night?
Oh, I like that. Okay. I got that. All right. Well, now we know there's a lot of challenges for just women in general. Cause I feel like I could probably do more to, you know, support my wife in any matter. You know, we could always do more. Right. So I guess not just from a man's standpoint, but just anywhere. Where can we, I guess, be better in support of our women and Black and brown women? Where do you think we need to, I guess, spend a little bit more time in that would better support our women?
I have found, you know, and it might be because, like, you know, of COVID and things and just things I've been reading, but in life experiences, you know, I feel like the healthcare system doesn't see Black and brown women the same as they see white women. You know, they feel like there's a lot of times we go into care centers and we go for like a regular checkup, or we go for, you know, cancer care, or, you know, and we're questioned, you know, are you really in pain? Or there's things like, you know, that we have to deal with, and it's statistics that, like, you know, like, we have a higher fatality rate when it comes to pregnancies. And it, you know, there's just certain things that it's a bigger picture than, like, you know, like the everyday stuff. But for me, I feel like that is something that people could educate themselves on, is really the healthcare and how neglected women can be. Yeah,
because I had no knowledge of that, to be honest, and I never even thought about it. But
and it's been like, I've been like reading, like, you know, I feel like, you know, like, as far as like, there's been a community just with everything going on, like, health wise, you know, that's been in our news lately. So just being able to see people being open and honest, and seeing people in like a sharing space. It's kind of like what you said, like, it's made you realize, like, there is a problem here.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to what you said a few minutes ago, is you know, who do you want to be and what do you want to accomplish, or how do you want to become a better person? You got to learn, you know, and, you know, me not knowing that, you know, there was this, statistics out there about that. You know, and now that I'm enlightened, there, you know, I can be aware of it, right? Because you can't fix a problem if you're not aware.
If you're not aware of it, that's my hope is like just, you know, by people hearing that they just kind of take the time to look into it because it's real.
That's what's up. What do you think? This could be an interesting question, but what do you think people need to know about Black and brown women? Like, what is the biggest thing or most important thing or whatever? It doesn't have to be important. It could be funny.
I would have to bring it back to my personal experience. You know, growing up with my grandmother, my mother, my aunties, my siblings, like we were all raised to have pride in who you are. And I don't know if I really necessarily knew that, like, you know what I mean? Like as my mom was saying these like, you know, beautiful affirmations to us and things like that, or like my grandmother would say, you know, stuff that like we're thinking they might get on us, or we're thinking that like, oh mom, you know, but it was things that they were really instilling in us and preparing us for whenever we were leaving the home. Yeah. But I think it's one of those things that's just like, we just have such a pride about ourselves, and it's a pride that doesn't need to be spoken. You know, I think it's something that is just like, you know, that's how I was raised. Like, I feel like that has started my collection and my brand, which was A Woman's Grace, which was my senior thesis. And the whole reason I started that was because I, you know, was raised around women with every body type that was brown women, you know, every body type, they look so different, but everyone in my family came dressed to the nine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everyone in my family, like if they had to deal with something, like they presented themselves in a way that they were going to be able to present, you know, like just take on what they needed to. Yeah. So I think it's one of those things, it's just this underlying, like, you know, like pride, like it's like we believe in ourselves. Yeah. You know, I think it's one of those things that like we've been pioneers and we got to believe in ourselves, and we do. And I think it's just one of those things, like I feel like, you know, a lot of things are turning on, which is good, but I definitely feel like there's something there that like we were born with, or we've always been like taught, you know, like you gotta be yourself and be comfortable in your own skin.
Now that's huge. So me and Micah talked about that a little bit, and I talked about his confidence level, because I would say, I know you use the word pride, but I like confidence, because sometimes people are like, oh, prideful, but I know what you meant, you know, and you're not out there boasting, like,
which I think is different from prideful. Yeah.
And I just want to I want to clear that up just so people, you know, and I think that's something that, you know, people may envy, people may love. I know I love it because it's something sometimes I would lack. So I admire that when I see that in somebody else, no matter who it is. Right. You know, people say like, you know, Josh's podcast, they might talk about Baker Mayfield and, oh, he's arrogant. And, you know, I always feel like the people that point that out maybe, you know, just don't love themselves or are confident in themselves. So they kind of, you know.
Or couldn't see themselves doing that. So it comes out, you know.
Yeah. And I just think that and obviously it wasn't just for the females in your family. It's just your family in total. And I think it is something to be proud of. You know, confidence you should exuberate that when you walk into a room. People notice it, believe it or not. So I know I'm like, oh, look, okay, you know, and I love that. And it definitely is something that it's an energy that can be shared. Just like a lot of people say, my laughter is contagious. Yes. You know, that could be, you know, just some swag walking into a room that can be contagious too, and just lift up somebody. You never think about that. But I think it's huge. And, you know, I'm glad that's, you know, where you went with that. But I guess speaking about that, I do want to touch on something before we do get out of here. And, you know, I kind of like this question for women. I don't know why, but, you know, like when you're growing up or now, whenever, I guess who were your heroes, or who are your heroes, or who is someone you want to kind of follow in their footsteps, or who led a great example for you as you're growing up or now?
I got to bring it back to Evelyn Mills and James Mills, you know, my nanny and papa. they held us to a standard as far as like, you know, we weren't allowed to do certain things like, or you knew that like Nanny and Papa are not here about this. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that, and they show by action, like they did a lot of firsts in our community. Like they were such a part of their church, and their community. And so just by seeing them, like, you know, my grandmother was the first African-American to be, you know, work at Dover High School. And from what I understand, the only. She was a lunch lady. And then my grandfather, James Mills, was the first to be hired in at Gradall. And so, you know, there's things that it's like looking at them, like, you know, I can remember going, I know I'm kind of trailing off, but I can remember, you know, having a trouble course in University of Cincinnati. And in my head thinking, I cannot take this grade up the highway to, you know what I mean? Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
So, because they make you want to push, they still make me want to push, you know, my grandpa tells me to this day, he has me on retainer because of all the information that he's, and I am appreciative. But it's like, you know, and I, like my grandmother, I talk to her daily and she's like, what are you working on? You can't lie to your grandma. Like, you know, you got to be like, okay, I'm working on this, and it's be truthful, you know? And so like they hold me accountable. I don't know if they really know how much they have. But I feel like I've moved leaps and bounds just by being back home and like seeing them in my everyday life.
That's what's up.
But they're definitely my heroes.
Okay. I like it. Now I guess I know it's a, we talked about it a little bit, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but, I guess what I'm trying to learn and how to, you know, as a leader, you know, learn to delegate or learn to, I guess best put a job or a task in front of somebody who needs to finish it. And I'm kind of starting this at home. And I realized my wife, Krista, she's been doing it to me for a long time. I'm just like, oh wow. Now I'm understanding. I'm like, before she'd say it, I'm like, I gotta do this, but no, I understand. It's just delegation. It's just better. You gotta put whoever's best to do the job in position to do it. So, eventually I know you're going to grow. So I know eventually you're going to have to come across this, but just real quick, like what does that mean to you? I know your family says, hey, do not outdo yourself. No, not outdo yourself. Do not
do too much.
Yeah. Do too much. Thank you.
Yep.
And just, you know, it is hard to do eventually when you start out. But I mean, what do you think? How I want to word this. What will it be for you? Will it be something that you feel like you'll be strong at? Or, because I know for me, when I had to be a leader and have to like, it's just weird for me to go, hey, can you do this? Just because I'm used to it being the other way around and I would love to do stuff. If you're like, hey, Perci, can you do this for me? Of course, I love doing that. Of course, we've had experience with that. But now being on the other end, you know, how's that going to be for you? Are you going to be all right with that? Or? Oh,
well, you know, I've led teams with Abercrombie.
Okay.
So, I was at one point where I had 10 to 12 girls underneath me.
Okay.
So for me, it's a familiar place.
Yeah.
However, you know, my main thing, which I've, pushing myself to learn, is people's personalities, the way people receive things. So like, you know, like, and I prided myself on this on my team at Abercrombie. Like if I had someone that was shy, like I knew there was a way that I needed to get her to be her best. Maybe it was like asking her to do something, sitting down with her, always coming to me. But then there's some girls that, you know, that they just got it, where I'd be like, okay, why did you do that? Do it again. Like, you know what I mean? But I knew that wouldn't hurt their feelings and they wouldn't take it too serious. They could get on down the road. So I definitely feel like I'm ready for it. You know, I just feel like, doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's one of those things. I feel like just the difference is training your own employees versus I get somebody that, like, you know, I may have helped hire or whatnot, but like you already had a system where they just are coming to you.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like I am trying to put my feelers out there. Like, you know, we're looking to have more seamstresses soon.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I'm looking to have an assistant. But like in the meantime, you know, my sisters, like anytime I need help, like if I'm doing the trunk show or if I'm just like, does this worded correctly? Like, you know, I need to do this. Like they're always there.
That's good. And it's always good to have family with different strengths.
Right. Absolutely. And all three of us do. Yeah.
Now, we're going to end this with the fast questions because I'm curious.
Oh my.
Yeah. So you got 3 seconds to answer. No, I'm joking. We're going to play Family Feud at the end. No?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I actually don't even have these written down, so I'm just going to be off the dome. But I'm curious about some things. So, some might be typical questions that you've already answered, but, we're going to get into it. Okay. All right, Josh, start the clocker. No, I said the clocker.
I was going to say, do I need like a buzzer or something?
Everyone you said that, I always thought of the Staples, and that wasn't
right.
Easy.
That's what
Anyways, all right, so favorite actor, actress?
Wait, this is like,
ding,
I know.
Ding, ding, ding. No, I'm joking.
Favorite actor or actress?
Angela Bassett.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna crack up laughing. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to think of what I've even watched recently.
Michael B. Denzel.
No.
Jamie. Somebody white. No, I'm just. Do you watch movies? You've been working hard.
I've been working hard. I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff.
They don't have famous actresses in those.
No, it's not. Oh, you know what I've been on and what I've been digging lately is Cree.
Creed.
Yes.
Not Creed with
Creed.
Michael B. Jordan.
Freddie on A Different World. I've been watching A Different World lately. I've been pulling it back. That's why I was like, wait, I have a good answer for this. I've been pulling it back. I would have to say Creed or like Whitley or like just like those old characters have been.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes,
I like it.
Yes.
So for me, shows nowadays they're just not the same.
Not the same. I've been doing like the the old timies, the ones that you had to like get your homework done, take a shower. Watch them like right after you were done before you go to bed, those type of shows. So.
Nice. Okay. Favorite food?
I would say my favorite food is apples or my grandpa's ribs. My grandpa's barbecue ribs.
Is it dinner time?
It's about that time. About that
season. Favorite car?
Cadillac.
Ooh, Cadillac. Escalade?
I like not the Escalade, but I like the SUV version with that.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yes. I like it. Yes. If you could have lunch or dinner with someone dead or alive, celebrity, who would it be? Well, I guess it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be
Nelson Mandela.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Favorite sport? What'd you play? Volleyball, basketball?
Volleyball was my favorite sport to play. Okay. Like it's hilarious how like I'll just see a clip of someone, I'm just like, I want to butt that spike so bad. But I would not dare with my ankles right now. So
I was about to say, when was the last time you played a sport?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's been a while.
Like I used to do intramural sports like in college, but that was as close as we got.
I'm trying to recruit you for, our church's volleyball team. No. Krista would love me. No. Okay. No.
I feel like this time, I got to a certain age where I'm just like, that is not a risk I'm willing to take. Wrists, ankles, like I need to sew.
Okay.
Switch my gears.
Favorite vacation spot?
I would say beach, like anything, any beach. Like the ocean, the sounds, warm weather.
Favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby would be, I love to sketch.
Okay.
And
have you ever had to sketch? Have you ever sketched like on an iPad with a virtual pen?
It's at work. I had to. Oh. That's the last time I've done it. So it's been.
Did you like that better than normal paper or no?
I got done when I had to get done, but for me, like I'm a hand sketcher. Okay, even to the point where like whenever I do stuff for clients, like I like to hand sketch stuff. Gotcha. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Well, is there anything else you want to touch on, share?
I'm trying to think. Just trying to think like what we have coming up, which is.
Oh yeah, I was going to say so you're saying you're consistently going to be doing these tea times, and I don't mean golf. But stuff like that, virtual events. You're going to have stuff like you're going to be popping the trunk on people. No, I'm just. Josh, if you don't know what that means, go listen to Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared. But no, we ain't gonna be popping the trunk on nobody.
No.
But you know what I mean. The trunk events, or what do you call them?
Trunk shows.
Trunk shows.
But I'll be doing virtual. I'm going to keep things virtual for right now.
Okay.
I just feel like I'm able to obviously reach more people at this time, you know, with everything going on, what's open, what's not open. And then I'm going to be focusing more on like my workshops with the youth.
I like it.
I eventually definitely want to do some like for all sewing levels or skills, but I'll probably start with doing things for like the children.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if that's it, I appreciate you being on the show. We love having you here. It was great.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing some of the stuff you shared. And yeah, everybody make sure you subscribe, like, you know, hit the thumbs up button. You know, it's free. Takes like 0.005 milliseconds. Is that a statistic, Josh? Once again, thank you to sponsors, Your Pizza and Peterman Plumbing. Peterman Plumbing. That's a lot of P's. But yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Love doing the show. We're going to continue doing this. See you next Tuesday. Peace.
I got a crib out of water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shouting you my little mama. I got a crib out of water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shouting you my little mama. She be on that Henny. I like that Corona.